offset that, because that will potentially drive down prices in some cases. So you need something that's kind of a barrier so that people aren't like buying things like too easily. But at the same time, well, sorry, what I'll say about this is that so the gold costs are there for that. One of the other big really important things with the gold costs is it means that it doesn't screw your progression up too much as you're going through the game. So effectively, you've still as your first going through your first experience, the prices have a bit of a floor, so that like when you're in like Act 3 or something, like you can afford stuff, but you can't necessarily just buy a whole set of gear like out of nowhere, that kind of thing. So that's kind of important. And then the other thing as well is it stops any kind of, well, maybe not completely stops, but the hope is that it'll stop dumping of like, high frequency trading, that kind of thing, because, that in order to be able to flip items, you would need to run maps to actually get gold, right? Because you can't get it any other way. So effectively what that means is that you can, it's going to prevent that kind of thing from being an issue too. So the hope is that this should be a situation where we don't get like catastrophic hyperinflation or something annoying like that. And if we can achieve that, that'll be really good. We did pitch the gold prices on the high end to start with.
Makes sense.
Because we're a bit afraid. If it turns out everything's fine, we can lower them down a little bit, but they'll be a little bit high to start just because, we're a bit afraid. And we don't really want to have to jack them up after they're like,
we get pissed when we do that.
So
you said this, that they were pitched on the high end, but then when I asked you about how much gold actually is to buy something, like what amount of gold does it cost in terms of time or maps?
The discussion was that buying a rare should cost you about 1 map worth of gold.
That's like seems like nothing to you. That doesn't seem
irrelevant,
that
I mean, consequential.
Like it's enough to,
with a lot of
it's a lot for a botter, but
well, exactly right. It's a lot for a botter.
That sounds perfect.
A little bit earlier in the game, this is a little bit different because you want to make sure that you're not screwing with the progression too much. So it has to be a little bit adjusted. But effectively, that's kind of the goal. It's enough of a barrier to stop the flips, basically, because you still have to.
That sounds low enough that the currency cost of it is low enough to be.
I mean, that is the part that the player receives. You'd want that to be something that matters. But like as I said, the floor shouldn't be too bad. But it's gonna be very interesting to see how it develops. Like I honestly have no idea really. Like I don't know whether the prices will be lower or higher on the system versus the old one. Like I actually don't know whether that's what's going to end up happening there. Like I've got theories, but it's like I can there's counterexamples too. Like it's very interesting to sort of think about that.
So normally you have this effect where like prices bottom out for like usable, decent to bad items. Like they go down to 1 out. But the problem is then at the same time people don't want to make those trades, so their minimum price climbs. It goes to like 5x or 5c or whatever. It's like the minimum that they would even leave a map for. So that character created the floor before.
But then on the other hand,
kind of gone now.
On the other hand, if you're just filling up all your stash with a bunch of crap, like that's just like as a seller, you don't necessarily want to do that either. So like you've got that element going on.
And this is something I love about this system is that it's going to give you a very real feedback of how things are selling, because you're going to get in real time those.
A bunch of people are going to turn up in your hideout. If you underprice something, a bunch of people are going to turn up instantly. They're going to be there.
So this is my favorite. Where we talk about
misclicks.
So people click it, they get transported to your hideout.
At the location of the NPC with the box open with the item highlighted. So you can't like troll people by like putting the NPC somewhere far away from the entrance or something like that, which should be otherwise an issue.
You get like really popular items and you've got an active shop. You can have like 2 people in your hideout.
You can.
Yeah,
so we actually had to do a thing where effectively there's only 24 slots for people who aren't your friends or party members. So effectively that means that there are some extra slots that are dedicated so that you can't someone can't stop you from being able to map or something just because you had a popular item that people are looking at.
But how do you get rid of them?
Thought of that one at least. Like I am sure that there will be other random.
I need the ability to
discover. As a way to do this. But one we did think of immediately, of course, it was really obvious. Like once you've set a price on an item and put it in your stash, there is a cooldown on being able to take it out again, just to give people a chance to.
You can't be sitting there going, oh my god, too many people are joining.
Remove it again, right? It has to be put in. And I think it's even got a thing where it refreshes the cooldown when someone joins, so that's the kind of thing you need to be thinking about. So once again, I'm sure there'll be exploits or like stupid shit around this that people work out, we really thought of the really obvious ones.
It's going to be a really like physical, tangible way to learn the impressive things. Like, there's a bunch of stuff there. No one's spun out. If there's a lot of people standing in your hideout, you know you're probably doing things right.
Right.
But yes, no change of none of that
And the bait
repricing.
switch, the bait switch will be,
yes.
is gone, right? Because like when you put the item in and you price it, you are committing to that price,
Never-
right? Like you must sell,
Yes.
you must sell for that. Someone's going to buy that thing, right?
Never again am I going to message someone and be like, I want to buy it, and they raise it by 5C.
Right.
I still want to buy
Fuck
it.
you,
But
those.
yes,
Fuck
again.
those
On
guys.
the other
I hate
hand-
those guys.
On the other hand, you have to
I
actually be
fucking
careful, right? Like you
hate
could
those
accidentally sell
guys.
something for real cheap, and there's no. I know it is, right?
I fucking hate those guys.
It's cool.
And then they pretend like it's sold. Oh, sorry, it's sold.
almost
It's
like
sold.
the
Sorry, it's
biggest
sold.
fear for doing this,
I can see
apart
it's
from
on
the
there,
item
but you raise the
acquisition part,
price.
which is
Nah,
like the economic side of
sold.
things,
It's sold.
was the losing the player interaction side
Right.
of things. That was often mentioned, memed about a little bit. But funnily enough, this is actually increasing it more than messaging people.
Yes.
Because they're coming to your hideout, like there's going to be that
And
kind
they
of
get
like
to
presence of
they get to
people.
check out your kind of like garage sale that you got going on.
I love that.
It's also like put your display cases there.
Yeah, exactly,
Put your
right.
cool hideout decors, and
Yeah,
you
like
know.
so.
It's cool.
we're adding
If
a
they
we're going to be
didn't have
adding
you
a
go
new
there,
hideout decoration that's
the hideout outing.
effectively a set of security guards.
Yeah.
And so people in your party, they'll let you through, and
Yeah.
people not in your party,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
won't.
yeah.
So you
It's
can
like
have
a
a little,
bouncer.
you can have a little trading.
Yeah, you can have the VIP
trading
area of the
section.
hideout. The VIP area where only the people with some
It's gonna be
class.
funny.
Only people with class are allowed in there.
So you can sit behind your security and just
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
all of them.
So much fun stuff.
Wait,
you can do.
I can segregate them.
But yeah, never before would I've like looked through a seller's like
Like I
other
get the
listings.
bozos.
But now, like, yeah,
It's a
a
separate
lot of
part of my
times I'm
hideout.
go there and buy the highlighted item. But
Well,
I might be
if they were
curious,
silly
what's
enough to
that?
sell it for that cheap, what about their other
What are
items?
their other
But also,
items?
but even stuff like
buy
the
like 5 things.
even stuff like you can see the tab names on the other people, right? I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
tab-
it says, yeah. So you're like getting the nice
Oh, no.
organized organization and like colors scheming and everything, right? So that people can,
yeah,
you know,
people's ASCII art.
yeah.
Oh, God.
So that'll
fucking
be
slurs.
I can't wait to look at all the fast tabs and
Okay, no, I think because I think we have to add a reporting system for it, unfortunately. So
probably should.
yeah.
I was just excited to log in. Just to have that. You wake up in the morning.
What have I got? What do I get?
Before work, go run to your
Yeah,
computer.
what
just
currency
quickly
do I
log in.
get?
And then you get nothing. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, and even just like popping into your friends lists.
Yeah,
Like hideouts
yeah.
are doing it too, like just browsing what cool items they got. It's like far more like physically a thing that you can do now. It's like, I don't know, it's
People
really
who get super
fun.
rare items,
Um,
post them, and
But
then
yeah,
quit the league.
there's so much unknown variables there. Like, what
And you
is
can't
this
buy
going to
them.
do to
No,
the
you can't.
economy and the item acquisition process?
Well, thankfully,
you can't
we're
go back
in-
now.
Thankfully though, we are still in the early access economy, right? So even though all the stuff will be kept,
Yeah.
it will be separated from the eventual economy we get at full release.
Yeah.
And also, thankfully, we get to test it on PoE 2 before we look at putting it into PoE 1. So we get a chance to. Oh, someone's phone calling me. That's not good. Before we get a chance to. Before we have to commit to that for PoE 1 and so we can get the balance right, we can get all the
my wife
details
do it.
right. But I am almost certain that it'll have to go into PoE 1. Like, there's no way people won't.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It'll have to go. But
No,
but at least
will.
we'll get a chance to kind of assess the how the economy shakes out and kind of make some adjustments if we need to before we have to worry about that.
Looks like there's some extra chat questions about this. So one is a concern about bots sniping instantly with the system. I mean, that's the point, right? Is like,
I mean, ultimately that.
well,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the point, but ultimately, yes, it's a thing. But then it already is kind of a thing. Like, there's already stuff that
I don't
honestly
know
goes on with there.
that
So
really changes too much,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
Because we were talking last night, I think, a fair bit about arbitrage and
Right.
how this kind of stuff plays out.
Yeah,
The gold is a bit of a deterrent.
The gold is the
yes.
deterrent,
It's-
right? It'll stop the bots ideally.
And
To some degree, for sure.
It's
you
like
can only
Faustus.
snipe so many items. You gotta put the actual.
You put it too
powers
low,
into
it'll get
it.
insta-bought.
Be able to do that, and
Yep.
often those sorts of bots kind of profit off low margin
Like-
trades. So low margin trades
Basically.
steal your gold. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So, yeah,
another interesting note that came up in our early discussions about this, it sounded like you didn't really need to make gold cost really high for rare items, because I was like, oh, well, tier 1 uniques that cost $1 billion gold. I was like, apparently not.
No, not really, because by the time you get to the high, like the top end of things, then that stuff is already the most expensive stuff. You don't really have the inflation, like that kind of like the descent of prices that you get that'll happen up there. So you kind of, in the end, the prices for uniques, they don't have to be that extreme.
Yeah.
But the thing to note though is that the prices are a multiplier per level of what the shop prices are. So we do actually have shop prices for all the uniques now. So if you sell uniques to the vendor, you'll actually get more gold now than you did before. Just as a side note,
there's going to be some kind of exploration of which golds are like
Base
not
value.
worth trading but worth a lot of golds. A bit like the dust in Period 1, I imagine.
maybe.
It's also worth noting that the this tab only sells stuff not in the currency exchange.
Yes.
Right, so you can't sell a chaos orb in there.
Just
Yeah, exactly.
The currency exchange is for fungible, stackables,
Yeah.
stuff that isn't modular, and then the rest goes in here. So it should be that every single other tradable item is in here.
So we had the kind of discussion in the past about like whether maps would get some made to work with the previous system, but now obviously they can just be done through this. Like those sorts of items that are a little bit variable, but might otherwise be considered a kind of currency can go there. So if this goes well, do you plan to remove like old systems of trade or anything like that?
I don't think we can, because fundamentally, like we have sold premium stash tabs. They had the functionality they had. Removing the old system,
That would be bad.
people bought stuff. We can't delete what they paid for.
Other
Did you
games
mention in the
delete
reveal that
premium
you can
content you
convert
buy.
them over, or-
Yeah, we did. So you can convert your existing tabs if you bought them for the purposes of this. Then converting them over is
They released an
obviously the right thing
expansion,
to do.
delete it.
That's a thing we wanted to make sure.
A lot of those long-term PoE1 players have a seemingly infinite amount of premium tabs, largely for this reason, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it certainly wouldn't be right to all of a sudden be like, no, you don't get to use any of that anymore. So yeah, you can fully just convert them, and that is why it's also just as important to work in PoE1, because your micros are shared, right? You're not.
So there will be a little bit of a time there where if you convert them, of course, the PoE1 doesn't have this tab type, so they won't show up, which is a bit annoying. But once it gets added to PoE1, then they'll.
We'll try to make sure that.
There's the question of will functionality of the trade site be in-game in some capacity?
So that's something that we really want, and we even had a prototype of this.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's a thing that we are working on, but unfortunately didn't quite make it for 030. There's some stuff we want to do. I am personally still a believer in that the website's going to be a better experience, because the typing,
Web is
just
designed
web
for
stuff
that.
is sort of designed for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And ultimately when you click the button on the website, your character in game still moves. So if that's a thing. But on the other hand, for discoverability for new players and that kind of stuff, it is
And
good
it's
to have
huge for
something in-game.
console.
And well, here's the thing. I reckon for console, it's still better to use the website, because you can use your phone and you can search for stuff on your
I
phone.
suspect
a
a little-
console
there's a-
controller, typing text with a console controller is just fundamentally crap, right? So typing when you're typing with a phone is just easier.
Often you don't have to type anything in text. In this.
It's true. But look, we are going to do it. It's just that it isn't quite
There's a
done.
bit of each to their own as well.
Sure.
A lot of people are very excited about the idea of an in-game one. And
It is a feature that we
it's in
will do.
progress.
It is a feature we will do. We just haven't.
It's in progress and it's close.
It seems wild to me that I can like push it on my phone and it goes to someone else's phone.
Yeah, well, the magic of the internet, I guess.
I'm getting old, I guess. You mentioned that like there's more things on the horizon that you would potentially like want to do with this as well, like in-game features of things.
I mean, there's obviously the first question people will have about once you've got in-game trade searching, when's Awaken Trade coming, that kind of thing. I mean, look, maybe one day, it certainly opens the door to it. I wouldn't want to say that it's not going to happen. Like, there's stuff that we could do there, but
amazing.
there's a lot of UI issues to sort out. There's quite a lot going on with that. It's kind of one of those things that I'd look at a bit later. But yes, obviously something people want.
It's all under consideration though, which is
for sure.
very cool and very quite a pleasant surprise.
Well, like the goal, it is nice to get to the point of not feeling like to be, I'm sure it's only for some players or whatever, not feeling like you have to use third-party applications and stuff like that. It can, not to say Awaken Trade is dodgy, but there are some that are obviously a little bit suspect. People are a bit like, no, I shouldn't have to do this. I don't want to do this. It gets you can get a bit scared about it, and it can be a little bit like, especially when all of a sudden they're asking you to provide information you shouldn't have to be providing them, and that kind of stuff. So getting away from all of that, having it be all nice, secure, done by us and everything is the ideal goal. But one step at a time. This is a big step, but we'll see what's next
I have a
after we
multitude of reasons.
test this out. Let an economy test it for us, get it to PoE1, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll take it. As I said, every trade system reveals its problems. Maybe that's just the next problem. So see.
Another question here is like, when you click like secure item or like buy item on the site, and it's going to take you to the hideout, it's like, Is that locked in and other people can't then click it? Or
No, they
Is it a
multiple-
race
it
to
is,
the
it is
NPC?
technically a race, yes. We'll see how that goes. Like I think it should be fine. But yeah, that's just worth
Star Force
understanding.
PC
That's
Master Race,
gonna be
baby.
interesting for like those mega deals and see like 10 people loading in at once trying to grab it. Who can click the fastest? Who loads faster?
Thankfully, the loading time should be a lot better
Yeah.
in this version than they were in the past. We're doing a bunch of engine changes, which I'm hoping is going to go well. Obviously, you make changes, they can be.
Worth bringing up stability and performance.
Yeah. So, we've done a pretty big amount of rewrites to the engine this version. The goal is obviously making the game faster. It should be quite a lot faster in terms of frame rate. There's still some kind of one of the load times is definitely a lot faster. There's still some concerns around shader pop-in type issues, which we're kind of working on at the moment. But ultimately, it should be better, and we've also unlocked a lot more optimization opportunities for the future. So things should be better in this regard, I am hoping, especially for consoles, where we've seen a pretty good performance uplift, and things are looking pretty good. But yeah, still more to do. But that's definitely something that we're taking really seriously. And one of the other things that I'm really hoping we don't run into is another stupid operating system bug like we've been having with the damn freezers, right? Like we've made changes that I think will work around those, but fundamentally the Windows 11 scheduler is completely broken. So ultimately we just kind of have to do what we can there.
How fun for you.
Yeah, I know, it's very annoying, but that's the life, unfortunately, of a
Do
game
not
developer.
update.
To
Do
deal with
not
that, but
update.
hopefully the full OS freezers will, we basically managed to fix them for almost everybody, but that was still happening to a few people, so I'm pretty sure we should be sorted out now.
Yeah, and the E servers and things like that. have been-
Right, so that's the other thing, of
Getting
course, is
in.
all the DDoSing problems and everything like that. So yes, that's been a huge focus of our server guys. They've been working pretty much non-stop on trying to deal with that problem. So effectively what we've done is we've actually retired